In a case involving 200 Venezuelans sent to El Salvador without due process by the Trump administration, on an order by Kristi Noem, are we one step closer to Kristi Noem being sent to prison or for criminal prosecution by a federal judge? Well, I have a new order of Chief Judge Boesberg, where he posits that while he doesn't currently have enough information at his disposal to determine whether Kristi Noem willfully violated his court order to turn the planes back around and not fly to El Salvador, he's going to do some more fact-finding. And at the present time, a referral for prosecution would be, not out of the question, would be premature. When does premature become mature? That's what I want you to know here on MeidasTouch Network and Legal AF. I'm Michael Popok. This all arises out of a case we refer to as JGG. Has to do with 200 Venezuelans who were originally shipped without due process to El Salvador's CCOT prison to get them away in the middle of the night from federal jurisdiction. It was stopped by the American Civil Liberties Union and other groups who ran into court and got Judge Boesberg in an afternoon hearing on the 15th of March to ground the planes. And he told Drew Ensign, the lawyer for the Department of Justice, ground those planes, tear down those runways. Except Drew Ensign either didn't care, or the Department of Justice clearly didn't care, or Homeland Security, because the planes kept flying. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a classic example of contempt of a court order. That's called contumacious conduct. Now, for the last 5 or 6 months, the case was stuck in appeals world. It's now unstuck. And the Boesberg, chief judge of the D.C. federal trial court, is moving forward with his determination. He's already determined that there's probable cause that there was criminal contempt that was committed by the Trump administration. Now he knows it's Kristi Noem because they filed an admission just a few days ago in which they threw Kristi Noem under the bus because the judge said, who made the decision? Who gave the code red? They said it was Santiago. No, it was Kristi Noem. And so he said, fine, submit an affidavit from Kristi Noem about why she made that decision. A couple of days ago, she submitted this ridiculous 2-paragraph affidavit under oath in which she said, there was a hearing and they told me about the hearing, but they told me about it in the night. And then my lawyers told me and I didn't know and I gave the order. It's like, no, that's not going to do it, Kristi. And when I saw those declarations from her, from Todd Blanche, from Joe Mazzara, who's the general counsel for Homeland Security, my first reaction, and I did a hot take on it, was, uh-oh. They're just told off the judge, told him to go F off. And as a result, he is now going to have a fuller hearing, or more fulsome hearing, as we like to say. So he said out loud, I want to speak to Erez Reuveni. Erez Reuveni, to continue my movie buff pop culture references, is sort of like Kaiser Soze, if you know what I'm talking about, with the usual suspects. Erez Reuveni was a lawyer for the Department of Justice who got fired for telling the truth. And he prepared and provided to Congress a 30-page whistleblower statement in which he said that Emil Bovee, who is now on the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, being hidden there by Donald Trump, when he was the acting number 3 in the Department of Justice, gave the command to the immigration litigation lawyers for the Department of Justice that they're to tell judges to F off. In fact, in case you forgot Erez Reuveni, here's Erez on 60 Minutes.
At the beginning of the second Trump administration, you were promoted again.
That's right. Very soon into the administration, I was selected to be the acting deputy director of the immigration section, overseeing about 100 attorneys and every case that arose in the federal district courts.
But it was the very day of that promotion, Friday, March 14th, that he and others were called to a fateful meeting with Emil Bovee, President Trump's newly appointed number 3 at the Justice Department, who was once Trump's criminal defense attorney.
And we were told at this meeting that over the weekend, the President of the United States would be signing a proclamation invoking something called the Alien Enemies Act. This is a wartime law from 1798, invoked 3 times in the nation's history during the War of 1812, World War I, and World War II.
The Alien Enemies Act allows rapid expulsion from the U.S. of the citizens of enemy nations during a war. But without a declared war, Trump used it against more than 100 Venezuelans that the government said were terrorists. They were to be denied their right to be heard by a judge. Reuveni says Boesberg expected a challenge.
Boesberg emphasized those planes need to take off no matter what. And then after a pause, he also told all in attendance, and if some court should issue an order preventing that, we may have to consider telling that court, you.
And when you heard that, you thought what?
Felt like a bomb had gone off. Here is the number 3 official using expletives to tell career attorneys that we may just have to consider disregarding federal court orders.
And here's Emil Boesberg, who's trying to get the job as a Third Circuit Court of Appeals judge, denying that he gave that statement, although curiously basically saying he can't recall exactly at that moment, like he's used the F word on numerous occasions before. Here's his back and forth with Adam Schiff. Play the clip.
In the complaint, it says, Boesberg stated that DOJ would need to consider telling the courts, fuck you, and ignoring any such court order. Did you say anything of that kind in the meeting?
Senator, I have no recollection of saying anything of that kind. To the extent I
Wouldn't you recall, Mr. Boesberg, if you said or suggested during a meeting with Justice Department lawyers that maybe they should consider telling the court, fuck you? It seems to me that would be something you'd remember, unless that's the kind of thing you say frequently.
Well, I've certainly said things encouraging litigators at the department to fight hard for valid positions that we have to take in defense of our clients.
And have you frequently suggested that they say fuck you and ignore court orders? Is that also something you frequently do, such you might not remember doing it on this occasion?
No, and as I explained, I've never directed.
So did you or did you not make those comments during that meeting?
Which comments, Senator?
You really need me to repeat it? Did you suggest, as Mr. Reuveni wrote, that DOJ would need to consider telling the courts, fuck you, and ignore any such court order?
I did not suggest that there would be any need to consider ignoring court orders. At the point of that meeting, there were no court orders to discuss.
Well, did you suggest telling the courts, fuck you in any manner?
I don't recall.
You just don't remember that.
That guy. You know that nostalgic feeling of sitting at the breakfast table as a kid and pouring a giant bowl of cereal that just tasted amazing? Well, Magic Spoon has reinvented that feeling with cereal and treats that bring back the flavors you love, but in a way that actually fuels your day. Every serving of Magic Spoon's high-protein cereal packs 13 grams of protein, 0 sugar, and 4 grams of net carbs, and the flavors straight out of your childhood, fruity, cocoa, and frosted. And then there are the Magic Spoon treats, crispy, crunchy, airy, and ridiculously satisfying with 12 grams of protein in every bar. They come in mouth-watering flavors like marshmallow, chocolate, peanut butter, and dark chocolate. Perfect on the go, pre or post-workout, or even as late night snack. Here's how you try them. Get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/legalaf, or look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. That's magicspoon.com/legalaf for $5 off. So come on down with your 30-page single-spaced whistleblower complaint, in which you also threw Drew Ensign under the bus. I said that the judge is going to want to hear from Drew Ensign because I believe, based on my review of the record, that Drew Ensign lied to Judge Boesberg. That he either knew the planes had already taken off, he did not tell his superiors, or he lied and told the judge that he had. And I think Drew Ensign's in a lot of trouble. One of the reasons he's been moved off the case, but now he's coming back. Drew Ensign's also the lawyer who Judge Boesberg told early on in the case, hey, Drew, Mr. Ensign, you only got your reputation in this courtroom. I wouldn't sully it or ruin it over these issues. You only have your reputation for telling the truth. You only have it for a short period of time until you ruin it. So now Drew Ensign is being called in. Erez Reuveni is being called in. So here's what the judge has said. Let me read to you from the order, which is up on Substack for Legal AF as well. In response to the court's order of November 28th, the government has submitted cursory declarations. That's not a good thing. From Secretary Kristi, Noem, and the attorneys then at the Department of Justice who advised her about her making the decision to continue the transfer of custody after their temporary restraining order was issued by the judge. As this declaration does not provide enough information for the court to determine whether her decision was a willful violation of the court's order, the court cannot, at this juncture, find probable cause that her actions constitute a criminal contempt. So a referral for prosecution would be premature. But the court believes that it's necessary to hear witness testimony to better understand the bases of the decision. So he's ordered Erez Reuveni, come on down December 15th, 2025 at 9:30 a.m. You're giving testimony in live court. It says plaintiff shall attempt to secure the presence of Erez Reuveni for testimony. It's not going to be hard. They'll serve a subpoena. Erez Reuveni used to work in the Department of Justice. He now works at Democracy Forward. I don't think the ACLU is going to have problems getting the Democracy Forward to cooperate and bring Erez Reuveni in. The government shall produce true Ensign on the following day. Oh, legal alert from the ACLU is going to have a field day cross-examining his counterpart at the Department of Justice. Along with Judge Boesberg, it says both sides shall appear in person and will have the opportunity to question witnesses. See, the judge plans to do his own inquiry. Yeah? Then he's going to turn it over to the ACLU and to the Department of Justice. Yeah? This is going to be a S show of epic proportion against the Trump administration, who have been effing with Judge Boesberg for too long, and now they're going to find out. Because somebody may be going to jail, and her name may be Kristi Noem. We will follow it all, as we always do on MeidasTouch, without blowing smoke or sunshine. Hit the subscribe button on Legal AF YouTube. Not just the podcast, the YouTube. We're achingly close to 1 million subscribers to get us ready for 2026, the midterms and beyond. Be a part of it. Find out if you may have forgotten. Who could remember yesterday, today, what I had for breakfast? Go see if you're a subscriber. It's all for free. If not, hit that subscribe button. Come join us on Legal AF Substack as well. So until my next report, probably to update you on this matter, I'm Michael Popok. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.